episode 4 question mark going live.
Apparently
I
things
got
didn't go well the first time around.
I got
Clearly.
our last episode 4 muted with music that I didn't own the rights to.
So
So
stupid.
that was
It,
nice.
it took it was what, 10 seconds of music?
Yeah. I think it was more than 20 actually. I think that was what disqualified me.
Oh, that's dumb. Well, it's good to see all of us back, even though we're kind of all back at work, but it's good to see us all back at this again. It's been a little hectic and busy for us.
Yeah, that's definitely been the obstacle, which
Yeah.
is nice.
So,
Did you guys expect this coming back from COVID? How do you feel so far about the turnout?
honestly, it could have went either way. I honestly am a little surprised that we've been going nuts because I felt I figured people would still be a little scarce about wanting to be close together with other people, but it's been a pretty good turnout. I mean, I can't complain. I'm pretty much booked for a while, so and we all are.
Yep. Oh yeah.
What do you think, Brian?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was kind of not too surprised that we were this busy. I mean, just because of all the messages I got during the break, I think was enough to tell me that like when I got back, it was going to be really busy. Plus, just like not really being able to like completely handle the amount of messages I'm getting, and it's like a little overwhelming right now. So if any of like my clients watch this or anything like that, just stay patient. I'll get back to you. But yeah, no, it's good though. It's shows us that that tattooing is still relevant after all of that, and will be for a long time.
Yeah, that's definitely reassuring because I was skeptical about what the condition of people's finances would be. But the stimulus helps, and I think tax money is helping.
Yeah.
Got some returns coming in.
Well, especially with it's just been crazy because out of nowhere, a lot of my clients are like hitting me up like, "Yo, when do you have time? When do you have time?" Hell, I just got a family member from Jersey who's like, "So, how are we? How do you do this whole thing with situations going on?" I'm like, "Just gotta call and set up an appointment." So, I've got like family coming up to get tattooed.
Nice.
So it's just it's good though. It feels good to get back to work, Um, and it's funny because it feels like nothing's changed. We've been out of work for like 3 months, and it just feels like we're back to an extent, we're back to the way it was. You know what I mean? Obviously, with the precautions that we have set up at shop, it's a little different, but honestly, it feels like we're right back into the swing of things.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely after 3 weeks, like right back into the normal feeling of the schedule and whatnot. Even with this week for me, it pulled an extra day, but um, kind of felt natural.
Yeah. Um, how'd you guys feel about like the first day back when we did our like first official tattoo back?
I was super nervous, and like dealing with the people then and now is a little different in how like nervous I was about the things that they would touch and what would go on. Feel like, a little bit more comfortable as the numbers improve for Connecticut, and also I feel like the perceived risk of it is decreasing for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel good about what we're doing. The masks are definitely getting old quickly, I feel now. But
Yeah.
who knows how much longer we'll have to deal with it. We'll see.
Yeah, it is kind of annoying to wear the mask. I mean, I'm at a point where I'm slightly used to it. Other than occasionally, like it'll either ride up or ride down. Um, but yeah, it's definitely getting annoying. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely getting to that point where I'm like, all right, I feel like I'm wearing like all this armor because we have, I'm taking the extra precaution with wearing the sleeve, the sleeve, the headband to kind of keep the mask up. Um, I'm wearing like an apron, and it's just like I feel like I'm ready to go into battle or something. you know?
Yeah, I fuck with the sleeves if it's like, but if it's too hot, they're too sweaty. But for big
Yeah,
projects and stuff that is like a wraparound type of stuff, it feels good. A little bit more mobility. The mask is definitely getting old, but the like I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if some places already were like not using the masks. Have you guys seen or heard of any other shops not using them?
Um, not really. I don't think there's anybody that has. I mean, I'm sure there's individual people that are not wearing their masks, like maybe in more of a private room setting. Um, but I know there's like a lot of studies and controversy coming out about masks now, and how they affect our health, and how the way that we're wearing them is not really how masks are meant to be worn, and how they're not actually um, safe outside of like a healthcare environment. So when people are wearing masks, they're lifting them up. They're touching. You're actually touching your face a lot more than usual because you're wearing a mask. You're trapping a lot of germs inside of your mask. You're reusing a mask. People are hanging their masks from like their rear view mirrors in their car. I drive by and I see, so these one-time use medical masks are being worn 10, 15, 20 times. Um, every single day at different places just to conserve, and you're actually putting yourself more at risk by. It's kind of like wearing gloves at the grocery store. People don't know how to wear gloves, so you're actually putting yourself more at risk by wearing dirty gloves and touching things and touching other things instead of just washing your hands effectively. So I know there's a lot of controversy about that right now, which I have been looking into a little bit, but just for the safety and comfort of like you guys and my clients, I wear the mask on my tattoo.
Yeah, I agree. I've heard a lot coming out lately about the mask like CO2 reuptake and that how that can affect like the lungs capacity to heal and recover if you do end up like being exposed. And yeah, like it's I mean, people are mixing it up now, so the herd immunity should accelerate. Seems like healthy people are getting it and processing it well, and as long as that continues, it'll be good.
Yeah, you
yeah,
have to remember that a lot of the deaths that are reported by healthcare professionals are, there's a lot to say about like insurance money through hospitals and stuff like that. A lot of people are dying of other causes, but happen to be COVID positive. Um, there's also been people in the healthcare system that are being contacted by other healthcare people saying that someone that you came in contact with was COVID positive, so you need to quarantine. Um, and if you report to those people saying that you did have some sort of symptom, like if you're coughing or sneezing, they will report you as COVID positive, even if you haven't been tested. So a lot of these numbers
Wow.
are people that aren't actually dying from COVID-19. They're dying from heart attacks. They're dying from heart failure. They're dying from lung disease. They're dying from pre-diagnosed conditions before COVID, and COVID either accelerated that or just happened to be coincidence. And then they're reporting it as COVID for the insurance money. And then people are also being diagnosed with COVID because they were in some sort of radius from somebody that has reported positive for COVID without actually being tested. So I would be interested to find like the actual death numbers and the actual infection numbers um, without, if that wasn't to be the case, I think would be substantially lower.
Yeah. How so on like say like on a day to day, like with that type of information, how often are you considering like the extra risks or like how are you feeling any pressures or like extra fear about cleaning up, setting up
No,
interactions like
I try to maintain the same way that I do on a normal basis. To me, it's business as usual, and I'm wearing a mask. Um, it really just because I don't want to let fear or anything like that disrupt my quality of life. I don't want to let it disrupt my quality of my tattoos. If people are willing to come to the shop and get tattooed, and they pass the temperature check, and they pass, they physically do not look ill and don't show any symptoms, um, I need to carry on, and you deserve that I give you the effort that I normally would pre-COVID. Um, Everything is still the same as far as like my setup and stuff like that. Um, I've always, taken pride in how clean my area, my setup is. So I try not to let any sort of fear. I try to go to work pretending COVID really doesn't exist, so that the fear doesn't affect my own well-being.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like it's easy to kind of be back in the old groove of it and really not have to worry about like actually transmitting it right like moment to moment, especially because we are already handling it so thoroughly in the first place, probably
Yeah.
more natural to us than others that have like significant changes.
Yeah, and I mean, I digress a little bit. I'm not pretending as if COVID doesn't exist. I'm just in my own head going about things the way I normally would, pretending it, like for my own sake of like fear, but then I still treat my clients as if it does exist, and stuff like that. But I'm not letting the client that comes and sit in my chair, I'm not afraid of my client. I'm not afraid that that client is going to be COVID, so I have to sit this far away from them. I try to touch them as little as possible. I do the same thing. If they're willing to risk them coming in to get a tattoo, I'm of course putting myself at risk going to do the tattoos. So I think it's, for me, it's business as usual. Because this is what I do to maintain, positivity, and good mental health. So I'm not going to let anything kind of stand in the way.
Nice. How
I think we've all been doing a good
then?
job, though. I think we've all been doing a good job.
Cutting out a little bit there.
Cutting out. Yeah, I think with the procedures we've done at the shop and keeping things simple and basic, and only allowing one person at a time, it's kind of, like I said, it feels like the norm with obviously some slight differences, but we've all been doing pretty well from what from the way things have been the past couple of weeks. And we, like, all of us have just been like hustling. We're making sure, like, I try to direct all my clients to make sure, if they have to go use bathroom, do it this way, that way, go use bathroom, wash hands. And most of them, have all been pretty good and on point about it. But around here, Connecticut, Mass, it just seems like things haven't been as crazy compared to certain other parts of the country. It seems like things have been a little more controlled here, but who knows if that's going to change down the line now that like all these phases are starting to open up shops, not just for us, but for like restaurants and all that other stuff. But so far, I haven't seen any kind of spike in anything, at least from my end. I don't know for any of you guys if you guys noticed any kind of change, but for the most part, I don't know. I feel like maybe by the end of maybe less than the end of the year, maybe things might be some kind of normal. If we keep this up.
Yeah. How strangely lucky that like Connecticut is pretty chill.
Yeah. Like I said before, man, like Rhode Island and Connecticut are two like smallest states, so it's pretty.
We got the most
for
people
for it
though.
not to be as crazy.
We have the like densest per capita, like most people per area.
I think there's a couple other factors that have to do with the states that are rapidly seeing increases in numbers. I mean, again, like just a few minutes ago, I told you that I don't really buy the whole number thing anyways, but let's just, saying that that's true, or at least the percentage increases are true. Um, we're looking at a lot of states like Texas and stuff like that were reported to have like an increase in corona cases. Those are also like red states. So if you look at like Republican states versus Democratic states, primarily you're dealing with a lot of people like conservatives fighting for their rights not to wear masks and stuff like that. But then again, we are finding out more information that masks aren't as helpful as people think. But then again, those are the states that are primarily being affected. Are red states, are people that aren't really wearing masks, and also states like Florida, which are vacation spots. People are traveling still. People are going on vacation. I see it all the time. Um, those are like the hot spots right now, are places where people are gathering in large amounts from all over the country. They're not staying home. They're not staying even in their own state. And then, people aren't taking precautions because it's their liberties. So those are the kind of states that are seeing increases right now, are, people that just don't give a shit. So
Do you think with like California also being included that the it's might be more about like the South and the warmth and the climate? Because
uh,
California is probably the worst of any state besides, I guess, certain concentrations like Florida. I know Orlando's like the new worst city to be in.
I mean, as far as is it like Southern California that's being affected primarily, or is it all of
I
California?
I don't
Because
know. Yeah, the
because
whole I saw state numbers like California's up there, like Texas,
yeah,
California.
because
Those are
California, I mean, borders like hot and cold, so it's I think about California to the west is also like a vacationing spot as well. Um, and then you have like major cities in California that could be part of the problem. But as far as like scientifically, like from what we know or what we've been told, I think like coronavirus doesn't like the heat. That's what
yeah.
it dies at a certain temperature. But I don't think that's a temperature that like is really possible. Like I think it's temperatures beyond what we live in, climate wise.
Yeah, like it's getting along just fine, kind of where it is, because it
Yeah,
obviously started during the winter, but then now it's like oddly persisting in the south and like the west,
yeah.
where we maybe they're just seeing the version that like was more prolific in America, like that European version kind of swept across
Viruses
from
also
like
can mutate and
ripple.
adapt. Adapt to where they are located primarily. So if the cases are like rising in the south, then the virus might just be adapting to like a warmer climate and higher temperatures. So just to like live, but I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm a tattoo
Yeah.
artist, but this is just like from what I've been told and like what I hear and like me trying to figure it out is like 1 second you hear like if you don't wear a mask you're a criminal, and the next thing I hear is that you're actually putting yourself more at risk wearing a mask and touching it all day long and
Yeah.
reusing it day after day. So um, the information that I think we're fed on a daily basis is uh, a bunch of shit. So I think at this point it's kind of like believe what you want to believe, do what you feel is the right thing to do for like your own safety and the people around you, and then just kind of try to keep living like normal so that you don't waste months or possibly years of your life worrying about something that may not even exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lived with like a heavy dose of paranoia, and now I'm slowly kind of coming back to a less worried phase where it's odd now to look at it and then be more casual and like experienced with like dealing with it day to day. Obviously,
Yeah,
it's a different day to day, but then looking back and like not yeah, I also still consider a lot of other people are still feeling that, so
yeah,
you gotta like be extra cautious despite
yeah. And
your
you
own
gotta
personal
be
sensibilities.
you gotta be courteous of other people as well that may still be, you know, having trouble with like the fear aspect of it. But I look at it kind of as if like if I'm afraid about going to work because I might get coronavirus, I might not even drive there because I'm afraid of getting in a car accident, or I don't even want to leave my house because I might get like beat up or murdered or something like that,
Yeah.
and then it can just kind of spiral out of control as far as something like that. So like, these are all kind of like what if situations. Like, what if I get this? What if this happens to me? I think it has the same kind of odds right now. So I'm not really worried about it. But for everyone's comfort and safety, I'll wear a mask, and do what I'm supposed to do. But me personally, in my own head, I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen anybody wearing face masks in pictures anywhere.
Really? I still see people wearing face masks all the time. At least here in the area.
Or not masks, sorry, shields. Like,
Oh, shields?
Oh,
Yeah, no.
like,
tattooers?
yeah.
That's just a pain in the
No.
ass.
No
Like,
one's
it's
wearing.
too foggy.
It's crazy.
It's too much. Like, I tried it for about. I didn't even try tattooing, but when I put it on, I'm just like,
Dude, it fogged
yeah,
right
this is gonna
away.
go
I
well.
mean, you could get anti-fog, but still, it's just
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it.
not worth.
It's not worth it. So I
I
mean, but
mean,
you,
being a glasses wearer, you have like an additional benefit to that now. Like,
yeah, I was just gonna say that you got glasses on, so that's not even gonna matter to you.
Yeah, a couple times during the tattoos, though, I've like fogged up my glasses, though.
yeah,
Is
Daryl
the
had the slick move with the tape.
Yeah, put tape over the. But I don't think I could do that every time I wear a mask.
I wonder if it would help with it going up and down, because that's the part that irritates me most. And I think you're very right. Like, when you have to touch it to adjust, I'm wondering how much, like, maybe I'm being a little reckless with that because I'm pulling it down, and like, how many times can I really touch that with my hands before the
I
thing's
keep,
like fucked?
Yeah.
when that happens, I keep trying to use my like shoulder to kind of bring it down, and
Yeah.
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Then I just kind of have to wait until like we take a break or whatever.
Yeah, one of the issues is, while we're tattooing and something is falling, sometimes you have like a natural instinct to like touch it or move it. And then not only are we touching the masks that we're not supposed to touch with our hands, we're touching them with biohazardous gloves.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like tattooing and then I'm just like, oh crap, and I grab my mask and then I'm like, okay, we got to start this all over. We have to take the mask off. We have to take the gloves off. We have to switch everything. But I don't really have issues with my mask falling off that much. So as much as like it like fogging my glasses. So like I pinch. A lot of people too, they get the masks with the like they have the metal strip in the thing, and they don't actually seal it over your nose. You're supposed to apply the metal strip to shape over your face.
Yeah, which is funny because I just realized that the other day.
People don't.
Oh, really?
People don't do it, so there's just this big gap in between the mask and their face. But that helps me keep the mask on, and they don't slip or anything like that. But other types of masks that people are wearing definitely will.
Still trying to get my 3D printer to print out a Kanye mask. Just like right here, just gonna come into work with it.
That'll be fresh.
Funny. But yeah, no, like I knew, like my mask does have that little metal bar, and every time I bent it, it still kind of moves. And then it wasn't until like the other day where I noticed where if I like really kind of flex it and try to shape it, it'll actually like stay on. But overall, like yeah, it's difficult, especially like every once in a while when mass starts to move up or move down. And you kind of just have to deal with it until you either take a break or you're done with the tattoo. At least that's how I see it, because
Yeah.
it is tempting to like want to go like this and try to move it. And I also question it too, like, is that, is this bad? It probably is. I probably shouldn't be touching it. So I'm also like, I try not to actually touch anything until after. But other than that, like, I'm happy to be back at work. For the most part, I've been knocking out some fun pieces to do, over the past 3 weeks, like huge pieces. and you guys have all been killing it too, doing like these big ass crazy pieces. Like so, it's all coming together. So
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of nice stuff in. Like looking around, so I switched at the front. I switched to the different side of the chair. Now I'm like looking back at the whole shop, and like sometimes it's like you guys are all working, but like sick, huge pieces happening in all the stations. It's really fucking fun. Um,
yeah,
like
even
that's
Megan's
probably
getting like some big pieces too.
she did a big one today, whole inner forearm, like super efficiently. Really, like how long did that take her? What, 3.5 hours maybe? High end? Like she
Nice.
killed it. Black and gray, like black whipped out, real nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, like so far, I think that's like been the most fun about coming back. I actually like being up front and working up like by the window, looking back at the whole shop because you get to see like everything that's going on. I'm sure Bryant, like from the other end, you get the same type of scope. But
Yeah,
maybe not even as much because you don't see Nick's station like as clearly with the wall that's
yeah, and
obstructing. But
it's also darker up front, so it kind of like once you hit like the in between the front room and the back, it kind of like
Oh,
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 lost it for a second.
yeah.
Hold on.
Hold on.
fades.
Oh, we lost it for a sec. Yeah, it's
Oh no. All right, you're back.
It's
I
probably
got
my
it.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, you're
you're
good
good
now.
now.
So we
All right.
lost you at probably because of the darkness.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it just kind of like fades away. Like you can see like a silhouette of Angelo tattooing, but it's like kind of dark there.
I know I'm behind the wall, so you can't really see me.
Word. True.
So what do you guys in the past 3 weeks? What are some of your favorite pieces you guys had a chance to do that you guys are like satisfied with?
Pieces with yellow lines. Still.
Huh?
Easy answer. Pieces with yellow lines in them. So I got to do the mask. Still working on the arm. I actually wanted to bring my stuff home today, but got another session or two before we can get ready on some like actual color fill on Andrea's arm.
Oh, nice.
I have one next week that's lined up maybe for some more yellow lines.
Oh, you, Brian?
I've been enjoying everything I've been getting to do, which is nice. There really hasn't been any tattoos that I've gotten since going back where I was like frustrated with or disappointed with. I don't think. Yeah, it's hard to like pick favorites. I just enjoy what I'm doing right now. I'm just happy to be back and um, just been satisfied with every tattoo I've been doing. Just like haven't been having any issues. Like I don't know. I can't tell you. I really don't have a favorite. Like I've been looking at all of it and I'm like, I'm having fun. Like it just all looks good and um, in the most humble way possible. I'm just like satisfied with where I'm at right now. Of course, like always trying to get better, but like just after a 3-month break, I was kind of worried about
You're getting a little rusty.
the little like the technical aspects that I was really trying to get down before we left. Like when I came back, like I picked them up pretty quick, and actually like more so than before. Like I've even learned more coming back, which is kind of interesting because I think I like underestimated myself and kind of overshot. So like when I was coming back, like I tried like more. So I like surpassed kind of how I was tattooing
Nice.
before the break. So like I don't know. I just feel like the break was like almost maybe good in a way, but it still sucked. But I feel like it was still like still beneficial in some way. Like you kind of like a motivation booster. Like yeah, you have to work like twice as hard coming back now.
Yeah. I think like I've enjoyed a lot like all my tattoos. There's some ones I pick out that I really enjoyed so far. Like the saber tooth I got to do, which was like the first one I got to do, like first big piece I got to do going back. That was a little nerve wracking for me too, just because, like you said, you know what, we been out of work for 3 months. Kind of feel possibly might end up being technically like a little rusty.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I felt comfortable once I kind of got into the swing of things at that point. Um, and then now that like these past couple weeks I've been getting back in the swing of things, like getting real comfortable. I feel like I'm just kind of just going up. Like I've been thinking, I've been trying new things, um, especially like blending new colors and stuff, and seeing how that like pans out. That I probably wouldn't even have tried prior. So, but that was probably one of my favorites. And then like the lighthouse I did not too long ago too, which I actually got to see it like pretty much healed yesterday, and that thing looks just as it did like when I finished it.
Nice, nice. That saber tooth was sick. Like the saturation level was super nice on that thing for those tones that you put in it, like those muted tones and stuff.
Yeah.
Like really sick saturation, because I feel like those are not easy to get like that dense and smooth.
Yeah, it's browns have always been a strange, like browns and like pretty much tones like that have been a little strange for me to try to figure out my balance and how to blend them correctly. So when I actually do get them to work, it's satisfying. It's always satisfying when you actually blend certain color, like if you have a hard time with certain colors and you start to finally improve on that and get that nice saturation blend, it's always satisfying to get that right, you know. Um, but yeah, I was happy with it. Like I was wicked stoked about it, and like I was just looking at it the other day. I'm like, all right, you know, not bad for the fact that like I've been out of work for 3 months. So, um, but yeah, it is kind of depressing that like this is supposed to be the year that I wanted to do more conventions. Obviously, with everything that's gone on, all pretty much every convention for the year has been canceled.
Yep.
Um, but I guess that just means I get to save my money a little bit.
Yeah, and I got to luckily do 3 conventions before we even shut down in mid-March. So I'm pretty content
True.
with the amount of traveling that I did this year, even though they weren't like that lucrative. Um,
I don't know. New England convention was pretty sweet.
well, New England was good. New England was good, but that's, I mean, local for me. As far as like Philadelphia and New York was a little like hit or miss with what I got to do, but both good experiences, I think, as far as getting out there and met some people, um, and got to tattoo a tattooer friend of mine out in Philly, which we now share a similar client. She lives in New York. She traveled here, got her first tattoo with me. Ended up getting 2 tattoos with me over Christmas break before she went home, and now gets tattooed by my friend out in Buffalo. And we're going to work on a collaboration tattoo on her together when she travels back and forth. So that's pretty cool. And got to meet him in person.
Nice.
So it's cool to meet other people. But I think once it's all over, I think we're all on the same page as far as wanting to travel and do conventions and stuff. So at least we'll be able to maybe plan that and do that together, which should be good.
Yeah, I think that's definitely on the horizon. It is sad that this year it didn't turn out being right, because I feel like, especially, we're finally in the right place, especially if we didn't have the 3 months interrupted, we'd be kicking enough ass to be making more moves like that, with the business and whatnot. So it's definitely
yeah. One of my favorite conventions got canceled. Wildwood.
Oh
And
yeah.
I love doing that fucking convention. Just because it's just I used to go to Wildwood when I was a kid, so like just the aspect of going there, there's boardwalk, great beach, and you get to tattoo the whole time. Fucking, it's just a great environment. So I'm like wicked bummed by that. But I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? They tried to make it work, and it just wasn't gonna work. But there's always next year, and I'm hoping that this whole situation doesn't exceed past that point. because like I definitely want to make those moves. I want to prove. I want to go out there and kind of get my name out there more. You know, but like I would love to travel to a couple places and try a couple other tattoo conventions.
Yeah, like I very much look forward to doing that, nationally, and I would love to do some international stuff eventually. Like be using the tattoo convention as a convenient way to like travel to Europe. There's some pretty fire conventions over there.
Yeah, I hear you have to be cautious though. Like with they have like certain rules and like laws that you have to follow when it comes to like bringing your tattoo stuff in. Like, uh,
Maybe just
for
travel
what?
simple.
Yeah,
Go
Yeah,
there,
I,
buy shit there, and use it.
probably inks and stuff.
I
Be
believe it's
little.
like inks.
Yeah,
Inks are a big part of it because there's certain inks that they don't allow
I
out there.
had I had planned on looking into it because I was actually supposed to be going to London in August, um, and that was canceled, obviously. So um, when I originally was planning it, I was going to try to maybe stay in London for a week or so, and try to find a shop out there to maybe tattoo in while I was in London. Um,
That'd
but
be sick.
that's you know a dream now, unless the venue for because it was for the World Championships for Pokemon. They did we're going to be in London. So unless the venue stays the same for next year, then I would go to London next summer, which could be cool.
That would be cool. Like to do something like that, to do like a convention out in the UK or London or something like that. That would be awesome. I would end up doing what you do, like just take like a whole week and just go up there.
Yeah, I mean, I figured if I'm going to be out there anyways, maybe um, try to make some money or just see what it's kind of like out there because there's a lot of the traditional guys over in Europe and in the UK, and
I
they're
hear it's
just
pretty
like
big out there.
they're insane. Like it's different. It's like real different.
Yeah,
Um,
like but I hear like people out there appreciate American traditional a lot
yeah,
out
for
there
sure.
because it's
It's
more
I feel
obviously
like the
it's
neo
not
trad
as
is what
common.
it's about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Neotrad is very popular over there, and then kind of like what I do, it's like a mix between the two. Like it's very bold and simplified, but it has like those kind of um, not so traditional colors and like some smaller outline on the inside of things, kind of deal. Um, but it's also very just like strange. Like everything they do is strange. Like nothing is like it's not just like an eagle. It has to be like an eagle that's like ripped in half and like something coming out of it. Like it's everything is just like weird. Like uh, I don't know. It's just, everything's strange, but it's really cool. So
Yeah, I feel like the funkier you get with the subject matter, like once you have these images and patterns and setups like in your wheelhouse and you can start like messing around with making them more entertaining and interesting, like that's essentially, how people develop like an interesting style or an interesting look even in their own like tattoo preferred tattoo style, something that stands out.
yeah. Honestly, like going out there like that would be cool just because you can check out so much cool like art while you're out there. Just because like it's just that area alone, like just that whole Europe. There's just so much gorgeous art to actually like look at. It's why I feel like it's why like a lot of tattoo artists out there they like just pull out these insane pieces and you're like holy shit, and some of them only been tattooing for like 2 years. And you're like holy shit, you've only been tattooing 2 years and you can come up with this. But it was definitely a nice like fun visit out there. But man,
So what are you guys noticing differently, like coming back technically speaking? What Bryant, you had like insinuated in a way like you got, better from just like a little break that interrupted your normal maybe like muscle memory and, then gave you a chance to like reevaluate what you're doing and be more, careful and concerned to come out with like maybe some changes.
I think it wasn't that I was doing anything differently before. I like technically I think it was more like on a motivational level. Um, like right before it happened, like I would be in kind of bursts of motivation on certain pieces I did, and then I was still doing some things that I didn't really like care for, or I was like struggling like mentally and just like didn't put 100% into something. And then even though the client liked it, I just was like kind of frustrated and thought it was more of like a technical thing, but it was probably just more of like an effort. So I think after the break, like coming back, there was just like that burst of effort, that motivation where it's like, like I don't need to like rush through this tattoo to go do something else because like I've already done everything else the past 3 months. Like I'm good to just sit here and like take my time with this. And even though I'm still fast, like it's just like putting like a little bit extra into everything that I've been doing, and really just like really being careful about which needles I'm choosing and which machines I'm using and which colors I'm using, and um, just like really thinking about it rather than just like going at it. Um,
It's funny. You were just talking the other day how like you're like, God damn it, I'm too fast.
no, I even said it today. Like, I have fun with these things, and it's just like too fast, and like that's even including like that extra little bit of effort that I've been putting in. Like, it's still just the speed is just like
which
sometimes
which is
frustrating.
fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I
No,
mean? Like,
it's just like when you have like a piece that you're excited about and you're doing it, and then it lasts about 45 minutes, and you're like, all right, I got 2 hours till my next one. Um, that kind of sucks. But there's nothing left I could do with the tattoo. Like it's done.
yeah.
It's just finished.
Maybe
So,
you gotta start working in a bigger aspect, like start doing bigger pieces that'll take up that much time for you.
yeah. I mean that's true. Like I mean, even with my larger pieces, sometimes it doesn't take up the time that I allot for it.
Yeah.
And then also it's like a lot of people aren't.
Up
They
for
just
doing
they're not. Yeah, they're not really. They don't want to pay for something that large right now, which is fine. I really don't mind doing things off my flash sheets and stuff like that. Um, but I still am doing larger pieces. I have some projects coming up that I'm pretty psyched about. Um, doing some things coming up that are going to be really cool. Um, but yeah, I think, and then it's like it's not one of those things where you can like purposely slow down because I mean my machines are a certain speed, my hands a certain speed. So like if I actually purposely slow down, it won't look as good.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's like weird to say, but that's just how tattooing works. Like if I purposely slow down my hand to do it slower, I will ruin it. Like it won't. I can't. It's just
You're comfortable at where you're at, like when
yeah,
it comes to like speed and everything.
yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that. It just means that you know where you want to put everything, you know where everything's gonna go, and that's it.
yeah.
Sometimes like for me, um, I kind of sometimes depending on the piece, like if I have more time with it, like drawing it up, I'll have it draw like I'll have my color schemes kind of ready to go. I'm like, uh, but then other times I won't, and I kind of in a way kind of wing it. Like I'll have an idea of what colors I want to do,
Yeah.
and then I kind of go from there. So I feel like that's why for me I feel like it takes me a little longer to tattoo, just because I take step by step to figure out where my color schemes are. For you, I feel like you kind of have that already ready to go. So you're kind of just like, all right, I know where I'm going to put this, that, and this. Because a lot of your, very traditional, neo traditional, and you work on it's on a fairly basic palette.
Yeah, I mean, I have like so many colors and I have so many different brands, but I have bottles that are significantly more empty than others and some that aren't even opened. So, like I find these colors that work so well, it's like why bother using something else because it's just not. I mean, this is what works. But again, the past few years that I've been tattooing, I've gone through 3 different yellows. That's like my staple yellow. Like I used solid gold for everything. And then I kept seeing it come back healed and then healed 6 months later and healed a year later. And that yellow kept turning more and more like this weird highlighter yellow that wasn't there anymore, and switched over to something a little more drastic like the True Gold. And then when I found the True Gold and I started using that and seeing it healed, like it's the most like buttery gold that you could like the bottle looks like this, and then but when you put it in the skin and it heals, it's like the most amazing gold and yellow. So like
which brand?
It's Eternal. It's True Gold.
Okay, yeah.
So
That's a good color.
So like I use that and I pack it in with like I used to use Curve Mags, and I was like so into Curve Mags, but it wasn't packing in the color solid. And then I switched to normal mags, and then I found medium taper mags for packing in solid color. And then that's when I saw that healed. I was just like, this is it. So, but I was doing these things for the past few years and just using these colors and using these different needles and thinking I knew what I liked. But then I started seeing stuff heal because now I'm at the stage where tattoos I've done are healed now. They've been around for a little while, and I'm seeing some of these colors that I thought were, this is such a cool color, I love this color, but I can't see that color anymore. I don't know, and it just didn't work out for me. So now I'm seeing things come back that have been healed for almost a year now that look just like they did, when I did them, and I'm much more happy with that. But
that's good. Yeah, that color, like I started noticing that color. I actually True Gold, I used that actually on that lighthouse I did on my buddy's forearm. And then looking at it now, like I got a chance, like I said, I got a chance to look at it yesterday, and that thing, it stays pretty solid.
yeah, it's a great color.
It is. It's a really good color. Like because you think it might be a little too dark, but it works out nicely once it goes into the skin.
Yeah, people think it's like orange, so I'll get the orange out, or I'll get the True Gold out, and they'll think that it's orange. And I'm like, it's not orange. Don't worry about it. Like it's actually it's a really nice yellow. And I actually learned that. I learned about True Gold because I believe when I was visiting Mike Chambers' shop in Philadelphia, when Rick was getting his chest piece finished, I got tattooed by. I'm gonna skip out on his name now because what's his name? Aaron. Drawing a blank on the last name. A great traditional artist got tattooed by him, and he used True Gold, and he's pouring it, and this was like, it looked orange. And he put it in like the beak of the eagle and like those little like kind of like ridges of the wings that are usually yellow. And he put it into the skin, and once it was in the skin, it was like amazingly gold, and it had no orange like tint to it. It was just gold. So I think I went out and bought it like the next day. And still kind of kept using the solid gold because I just didn't trust like the bot, just something about it. And then I was just like, I really just used it one day, and I was like, this is like fantastic.
Just what you need.
A really good color.
Yeah.
So there's all these things that you can learn from traveling and other people too. So you can, that's what you just pick up from going different places and getting tattooed by people, or conventions and stuff like that. You find a color that just like, or something you learn about tattooing that sticks with you for a long time and really changes your work. Like I find that to be more valuable than the tattoo that I got. Like just being able to know that like I found something that like makes my work 100 times better, and like that I'm so satisfied with. I think that was like well worth the trip itself. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think for me, like I have so many colors. So like sometimes like I find the colors that work best on certain tattoos, and I get to see them, and I'm like wicked stoked on them, and then I forget what colors I use to do that.
Yep.
So like I have a piece. So I have a piece on on my wife, and it's the Spider-Man one. So the frame for the Spider-Man one is, I recall, if I remember correctly, it was like 3 or 4 different colors, from like a True Gold to like, I want to say it's like a sepia, medium, dark. See, and I don't even remember. And it like looks so good as a frame that I wish I'd actually written down the color scheme that I did for that, for the transition to one to the other. So sometimes I wonder maybe I just have too many colors and I should probably dumb it down to simplify things. But at the same time, being a new school artist, it's good to have those colors because I create things that I don't expect to create by trying all these mixtures of
Right.
colors.
Right.
You know, like because of that, I learned like if you use like dirty money and then you use a little aquamarine, that blend comes out really, really good. Like it looks so good going from that transition to that transition. Um, which is something I probably would never have thought of when I first started tattooing compared to now.
I if like but if like a year went by and I needed to remember that combination, I probably wouldn't unless I kept using
Yeah.
that combination like over and over. So like yeah, I guess writing things down would probably be, you know, beneficial. Um,
I mean,
uh,
at
I,
least
I've,
trying to take a note of it, you know?
I've always like thought about like taking half of my stuff and like getting rid of it or giving it away or throwing it out or whatever. And then I you know, because I use like 5 colors for like everything lately. And then, but like, then I'm like worried that like one tattoo's gonna come around and like there's just that one color that's like I knew I had that would have been perfect for it, and it's
Yeah.
gone. You know, so I just like keep everything. So I'm like, I don't want to like, I don't know, I don't want to do like that weird obscure thing where the person's like, I just need this one color in it because it's like substantial in some way, and then I'm like, oh, I have it over. Oh, never mind, I threw it out because I thought I only needed red and true gold. So you know, like I don't know, but it's also good to like what I think is cool about my style too is that you know if people start to only come to me for this kind of like traditional neo-traditional style, I can keep my palette pretty much the same for like every tattoo I do. And that way like it'll help with consistency in my tattooing because I'm using the same colors. I know how to approach those colors. I know the brands of those colors, the thickness of that color, and how to approach it. Because there's times where I'm doing a tattoo and I have a palette where I'm not worried about the machine I'm using. Like I can use my Neotat, and then there's some palettes where I'm like, you know, it's mostly like a thicker outer pigment, like it's a lot of chroma, and I'm like, I want my coil machine, I want my medium taper mag, because I'm putting in a lot of heavier pigments, and I need to slow my hand down a bit. And then there's some tattoos where I'm using mostly Starbright or Eternal, and I could put a curve mag into my Neotat and just kind of work as fast as I want, So like, um, that is something that I also didn't really know in the beginning. I thought like this is shade or this do color, and like just use the same needle and the same machine for like every type of brand and every color. But like I'm really kind of diminishing my palette so much that I know exactly how to approach each of those colors. And since I don't use 100 different colors, it's like um, that's why my saturation is getting much better. Is because I'm not using so many colors, and I can focus on learning how the colors I do use work. Um, and I think that's been, I don't know, I think that has something to do with it too. Just really learning the colors and really remembering them and how they work.
Yeah.
Which may be weird. Maybe it's like maybe I'm just totally like imagining the whole thing, and it's like all it is just ink. But to me, like there is a drastic difference between some of the colors I use as far as like consistency and how I have to work them into the skin.
Mm-hmm.
No, I definitely agree. Like you get those feelings, like it doesn't take long before you're working with a certain color or ink and you just know that like it feels drier or thicker. Like it's tough to the words that are used to describe the inks, like we get it. Like when we were talking
Yeah.
about, I'm like, oh, this color, it's blah blah blah, and then you can relate, even though it's like, what the fuck, like, is it actually describing what's going on there? Well, maybe not, but like, yeah, like you'd certainly have different things that work better for even certain colors. I like when you were first talking about it as this like subject matter brought up, I was hoping we would dive deeper into it because like it's something that I see, like certain needles and certain, ink viscosities, maybe we'll call it, like do work together better.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
used the medium taper today with the dynamic, not for shader, but for a liner, like a 9 liner, and it worked out nicely. But it was surprising to me at first, like what really happens once you like change that taper on that needle, because it was a totally different touch to get
Right.
the line quality than the long taper, and
Right.
there was a different thickness too. Like the line was naturally a bit thicker than I think a normal 9 was. So,
Huh.
but
Yeah,
solid.
because with the medium tapers, they saturate the skin a lot faster. So it may not be a thicker needle. It may just be hitting the skin a little bit harder. It may be the actual size of a 9 liner. So when I use medium taper mags, let's say I'm whip shading with a curve mag, and I really like whip shading with curve mags because you just get that, like, you can even it out if you're coming from a corner and kind of fanning it. You can even it out, and then when you're using a regular mag, sometimes you can see the actual mag lines, and you can see that it's kind of you know uneven. But with the medium taper, it hits the skin a little bit. Like, it feels like it hits the skin quicker and saturates faster. So like, if you're whip shading, like, you have to do it right the first time, or it's going to be super dark. So that's why I like packing color in with it, because I don't have to go back. With a curve mag, I'm going over the same area like 3 or 4 times, and with a medium taper in my coil, and I slow my hand down, it's just one single pass. Like, I can do single pass lines, but I was having trouble with single pass color. But with these medium taper mags, like, it's single pass color. Like, you don't have to go back to work the color in. You have to go back in to fill little dots or whatever, but you don't have to work it over and over and over and over again. And that's like where my speed comes from, and that's where the saturation comes from. I feel like is that I'm not overworking the skin. I'm not going over the same color 3 or 4 times like I used to with like a curved mag.
Yeah, the saturation that you've been getting is really nice. Have you ever, so like with some of your pieces, have you ever considered when you're like working back into them, like going back over some of the colors? You're like, oh, that's bright, but I wonder if it could get even like brighter or even more solid with like a second pass, even though if both passes are solid. Like I
Um, like
feel
going
like I've
back
messed
into
with
it,
that.
like while I'm still tattooing it, or like when it's come back healed.
No, come back healed. Come back healed.
Um, Maybe sometimes sometimes I get worried about like going over solid color with more color, because I don't want it to end up like darker somehow. Sometimes I feel like maybe it could, but maybe that's just like a fear. I don't know. Sometimes I think it works out. I think it's fine, but I usually don't have to. So I'm like, I don't know, like, just the way that I've been tattooing lately, and they've been coming back. Like, I really don't see any need to go over what I already did to make it like brighter, because it's already, like, me and the client are already satisfied with how it looks.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah. I was
we
saying
just
like a more experimental way,
like,
not
if I saw a
necessarily
tattoo
so
from
much
like a
as me.
couple years ago come in now, like, I would definitely, it would be worth the experiment, because I think it would, regardless of how it turned out in my head, it would turn out better in general. I think I would go over, because one of my clients, I went over all of my solid gold with True Gold, um, on all of her tattoos on her arm. We just did that one day, and it's substantially better. It's that one
Nice.
color. Going back to that one color, but yeah, I think you know, yeah,
It might become your signature color.
I love that color. Yeah, eternal sponsor me. That would be my set. My set would be like 8 bottles of True Gold. Just my name on it. Like, that's all it would be.
Yes, dude. The
Or
meme
like
set. I think everyone's ready for that.
someone orders my set, and they get it in the mail, and they open it, and it's one bottle, and it's just True Gold, and it's like, where's
Just
the
a big bottle.
where's the other colors?
16-ounce
No.
bottle of like True Gold.
Yeah, special 16 ounce.
No, it'd be like True Gold and Smoke. That's like the 2 colors I use from Eternal, like, a lot. Or the red I use is already Mike Chambers red, so I can't take that from him.
Reds is something we were talking about the other day. Like I went on like a decent rant about why I
It's a
believe
love-hate.
that the dark red is actually the brightest and best red. Like it not only goes in the best, but I think it's like aside from lipstick red, which is borderline
The
pink.
color dark red by Eternal.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's a
used to use
fucking
that. Yeah.
great color. And like
I used to use
light
that
red,
before
I
I
feel like
found
slacks.
bright red. I don't use. I never have any use for something that bright. Like the lightest red I use is lipstick.
Yeah.
That's
And
that's
that's
the
pretty
that's the
light.
lightest. Yeah,
And
that's
I
the
feel like
lightest I
it's
you
use.
can
lighter
blend it. You
than
can blend it with like lighter tones anyway to give it a lighter look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Megan both use Red Cross.
I love
Red Cross is
yeah.
probably the best traditional red. Dark red, I love the brightness, like its saturation of it, and I used that for a long time. It was almost like that was the duo. It was like solid gold and true and solid gold and dark red for like
I like
roses and
that.
stuff like that.
I like
And
that idea.
and then now it's Red Cross and true gold.
Okay.
The dark red looks great in the skin, but I noticed it heals even darker. I did a lot of work on Josh when he was working there back in the day, and I tattooed a lot with the dark red, and I just loved it. It's like really just like a strong traditional red, and then I saw it like not recently, but like a little like well healed. It was the wolf, the lady had with the wolf hat. She had the rose, and I did the rose and the dark red, and it's like really dark, like really dark. Um, but I love that color too. I should probably re-up on that color. But Red Cross, I think, is like it's like that perfect in between.
I've been wanting
Yeah,
to try Red Cross. I haven't tried that yet.
It's really good, and it
good.
saturates nice too because red, like notoriously, is like a very difficult color to get like solid. But I like the Red Cross, and then I use Chroma. I use their Crimson Red.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You know what color I've always had a hard time with is any kind of purple. I don't know what it is, but I've always had issues with like trying to saturate purple well.
Lighter purples or dark purples?
Mid to lighter tones. Darker
Like-
tones aren't really
Like
that-
lavender, like that kind of.
yeah, like lavender. I'm like antique fuchsia I've been pretty good with, and I really enjoy that color. Probably one of my favorite purples to use. And like anything a little darker, like I'll use like plum, but I'll use plum if I'm blending darker tones to lighter tones. So if I go from like black to something lighter, I'll probably use plum for that because it's like just as dark. But yeah, like lavender and stuff like that, I've always had a hard time kind of saturating that.
Yeah, they're difficult. They were difficult colors for me to saturate as well. They're weird. I think we're darker purples. I was using Wild Orchid for a while from Eternal. Now I just use the color dark purple by Chroma, and I have issues with a lot of Chroma's light purples because they're just a very strange consistency. But the light purples I'm using right now, I think I'm using a Starbright, not gonna lie, because I rarely use light purple. I think it's called Royal Purple by Starbright. So that one's kind of like lavender, but I think
purple.
Royal Purple, yeah, but it goes in a little bit better. And then I don't know, a lot of purple I use like I use smoke for everything, but that's more gray.
It's more considered in the blue-ish gray, like more of a cool blue gray kind of tone. A lot, and I know it's like a lot of the darker or lighter purples. If you don't saturate like well with those, it kind of makes it look like a bruise.
Yeah,
that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like it'll look like the tattoo has a bruise, especially if you're trying to use it as like a background color or something. But yeah, like I've kind of always had an issue with purples. But there are times where I've managed to make it work and it works. So like I just got, which I've still yet to try. I got them at the convention, but I got the warm gray tone like set from Eternal.
Okay. Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to actually use those yet, but those have a very like purple tint to them.
Yeah.
I love using the cool grays. The cool grays are probably my favorite.
Yep, I used those for a while. I had those. I think most of them like gummed up. I didn't use them fast enough, but I did buy them like 2 or 3 years ago.
I know.
I think I got rid of them. So I think I only have like the 80 left over. Everything else I had to like throw
those
away.
are the
Right?
neutral grays.
Oh, the neutral. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the cool grays are
I
the
thought I
ones.
bought the cool ones, but maybe they were the neutrals. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they are neutrals. Yeah.
Yeah, because those are the percentages. Those, yeah. If you don't use those fast enough, or like if you don't use them consistently, they
Yeah.
tend to gummy up and dry a lot faster than most of the other eternal colors. Those, like you guys said earlier, like you can tell difference between certain colors that will, uh, that are going to work great. They just have this kind of consistency when you're putting it in the skin, and then you have certain ones that you feel like are thick and you feel like you're going to have issues with. Um, I feel like the grays, the neutral grays, are kind of one of those ones where they're kind of like that.
They're a tough pack for sure.
Yeah, to get a good solid gray, sometimes it's tough. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but when I first tried the gray set, I did notice that there's somewhat of an inconsistency with the 40 and the 60 if you're trying to blend those.
With neutral.
Yeah,
Um,
like I don't know if you've ever noticed, but I have, and it's like they kind of need like you either have to mix them together really well before you can actually put them into the skin, or they need to just make a set in between and just have the 50 like 50 gray. But you can tell a huge difference between the 40 and the 60.
I feel like with my style, I skipped a lot. I didn't actually blend them, so I would go from like black to 60 to 20, or like black to 80 to 40. I feel like I wouldn't need that many like blends. Especially when I do like black and gray, like I have like a set of black and gray that's like dark, medium, and light, but I just use black and medium for the whole tattoo. I don't know why. That's just how I do things, but I never really blended all of them together. Like all the neutrals, I never actually used all of them in the same tattoo.
Yeah, certain things I've used them for, but like I said, I've noticed the difference between those two. So sometimes, on occasionally, depending if I'm using all of them, I'll end up having to make another cap that's like half and half, so half 60 and half 40, just so I can get that blend better. I don't do it often, but I don't really use the gray tones that often like that unless I really have to for whatever it is I'm using.
Yeah, I like the premix grays. I've got a bunch of them in like Megan's arm, but it definitely like they take some work, and then you need to let them heal. On
Yeah.
the note of the purples, I would say try red violet is one of my favorite colors in general. It's like the most amazing purple to put
That
in.
eternal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have that.
It goes
use
in
that.
so fucking easy. It's like such a bright looking purple. And then the I always hated the light purple. I think it is like so annoying to put in, but the witch eye is like
I was just
fucking
gonna say
amazing.
that Kelly Doty's Witch Eye.
Yeah, it's such a
That's probably
better
like one of my
consistency
favorite
for me.
lighter purples to use.
Yeah.
Her set's really good. Like I really enjoy using her set, even though her set's only like 4 inks. There's only one, I think, out of the 4. There's only one I haven't really used because I haven't had a need to use it.
The
It's
green.
the greenish tint one. But I wish they had more different tones of orange because they only have like 3, like Eternal. I know like a lot of people have issues with orange when it comes to how that heals up. I hear like the best thing to do is just to mix your yellow tones and your red tones to give you your own orange, and that usually stays in a lot more consistent compared to just doing one like a solid orange.
Yeah, but the people that have talked about that, like Guy Atchison talks about like how he mixes it. That's like they're talking like a 10-year. They're talking like 10 years. Like I was talking to Jay about that, and he's like, I have Starbright Orange in my arm from like 20 years ago, and it still looks good. So I think it's like, I don't know, one of those things. But if I need orange, I'll just use orange.
Yeah.
It could just be more susceptible to the sun too. Like you never know how people are like really taking care of their shit. I feel like when you sunscreen a tattoo and you take care of it well, like you're not gonna lose that many inks if it's decent ink. I mean,
It's the same thing with
yellow.
Like yellow does the same thing. You know, Yellow is gonna fade over time.
Oh, it's a very light color. You know, it's just no different than like using white or using like
Yeah.
a really light blue, like snowflake. That's why I like with snowflake. I use it as a mixing ink. I don't really use it as to try to put something in solid
That
because
like the is that like a white that's like a tinted blue,
it's like a really, 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 really light blue,
like
almost white, but not quite, dude.
like floral white?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
it's a honestly, man. If you've never tried it, I'd recommend it. Like especially because I was taught like use it as a way to kind of lighten up colors so that they blend a little bit better. So if you're trying to go from something dark to really light, instead of using white, replace it with a snowflake, and it gives
Yep.
it a richer, more natural like blend in. Um, that like that's why like I use snowflake for a lot of my um, full colors when I do stuff like that because it just blends really well with anything you mix it with. You mix it with red, mix it with obviously blues, greens. Obviously, the only thing you couldn't really mix it too well with is like stuff that's actually gonna really change the dynamic of the color. So like, I wouldn't really use it for like yellow because it would kind of make it a little green.
Right. Right.
Um, but I'm starting to learn that like if you use um letter tones like that for blending instead. So like for instance, like the Halo set from
Yep.
Eternal, a lot of that's very light colors,
Yep.
pastel colors. I feel like those are more used for blending instead of actually using as an actual tattoo.
Yeah.
So they have like I have honeydew as one of my lighter tones, and I'll use that to lighten up like a green, or I'll use that to lighten up some other colors, you know. Um, but overall, like I said, snowflake's probably one of my favorite colors to use to lighten things up. Uh, Especially pink or like reds and pinks. If you
Yeah.
mix that, it just looks so more natural and more nice, you know. Trying to think what else. What else I use? Yeah, like like my for my darker stuff, I'm going from black to something. I'll probably, depending on what it is I'm doing, I'll either use like plum, or I'll use like galaxy blue, or I'll use plum into galaxy blue into a lighter, blue if I'm trying to do that transition. If I'm just using like plum, I'll go like, and I'm using like reds, I'll go from black, plum to like a darker red, and then kind of work my way over. Oh, kind of lost in there for a sec. But
Yeah, Bryant's been using this green actually that I think is amazing. Is it? I forget the name of it now. Is it like the olive color or?
If I disappear, I can still hear you guys. It's my Wi-Fi that's messing with my phone's camera.
Okay.
The green. Are you talking about the one I used on like the leaves,
Yep.
the
Yep.
peony ones?
No, no,
Oh
no.
no
The
no no
last
the new one.
couple dagger
Oh yeah
leaves. Yeah, yeah,
yeah
yeah.
the martini olive. Yeah,
Yes, dude.
Genie
That
Olive, what's
color is
that from?
sick.
it's very hard to get into the skin. I mean I've only used it twice now. Um, it's a little bit different. I'm curious to see it healed. I'm worried if it would be too light. But the color's really cool. It's just like a light. It's like a light forest. Like it's very strange. Like a very light olive. Like yeah, like olive. Like if you think about it, olive green, like especially by Eternal, is very dark. It's a very
Yeah.
dark color. Like it
Yeah.
looks almost black. Um, and then when you get it into the skin, it's got like a nice green to it. But
Yep.
it's like super dark. But this
Probably my favorite
color,
color. Dark green to use.
this color is just like this. It's like just put a bunch of white in olive green, and then you have
Yeah.
martini olive. Yeah, it's really cool. Not a green that I thought I would use. I'm so used to like foresty greens. Like I've used so much Liz Cook Forest, which is essentially the same thing as Seven Seas, Mike Chambers. Kind of the same exact color, but I just use like these dark greens all the time. So I just tried something different. It was pretty cool. I liked it.
Huh.
And then I used like that really bright persimmon color for the rose instead of like a red cross or whatever. So I was
yeah,
just
that was
I
super fun too.
just went like really light with them. Kind of had like a different feel.
Yeah, the orange brightness instead of like a pink brightness for the red
Yeah.
was a cool take, and
The
it
persimmon's a
looks
really
good with the green.
the persimmon's a really cool color. It's like when you're tattooing with it and you like wipe it and like you look at the paper towel, it's like orange. It's like bright orange, and you're just like, oh no, what have I done? Like I just packed it in half,
Yep.
like a whole like rose petal with like bright orange. But then when you look at it, the whole completed piece, you're like, that's just a really nice red, like a really different red.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's like a really cool color. I really like it.
I've used you know which color I thought was strange going like at first I thought was weird was terracotta from Eternal. I don't know if you ever use that. It has an
Yeah.
orange tint to it, but it's supposed to be kind of like a weird red ish.
I think I borrowed it from you earlier this year for that snow globe I did with the cats in it.
Yeah.
I needed like
Yes.
I needed like a burnt orange. I think I used the terracotta.
And
It was cool.
I like how it comes like how it goes in.
Yeah.
Actually Megan used it the other day or yesterday. Well, whichever day she did that fox. Um, that's what she used. That's what she used for that fox. But that's an interesting color, and I enjoy it. Sometimes I forget I have it, but I like how it blends too. I'd probably end up using that as an orange and probably blending that with a little yellow to kind of lighten it up if I need to. So, what about you, Angela? Awfully quiet about your color schemes.
My color scheme.
Secrets, man. You can't give it all away.
Yeah, so I mean, I just got to do the realism piece, and that when you get to like mess with the realism, you get to like dabble around in your colors a bit to experiment because you have a lot of gradients and a lot of different effects you can pull. So in the palette I was working on with the bears, I had a bunch of browns out, going out to like a dark ochre as like even my high point, and it's just interesting how you can use like the value contrast to make something like a dark ochre seem like it's so fucking bright that it's like glowing, when you're totally gonna put in so much more bright actual like highlight tones and things later on. But just the contrast of like the unfinished piece that I left the bear at with that yellow ochre and the dark ochre was, and it wasn't eternal dark ochre, which I think is a little darker. It was Tommy's it was the Starbright dark ochre. So it was it's a little bit more golden, a little bit more yellow.
Yeah.
So that was fun to like kind of mess around because I was using dark ochre dipped in black, and then dark ochre dipped in some. It was like a super deep purple brown tone. I forget the name of now. Another Starbright. I used all Starbright colors for that one. So I was using that to make like my grays, which ended up landing them like a little bit greenish, and it was nice. It worked well for like the reflection of how I want to like use with the background highlights to the bears and stuff. So it was fun to like get to dabble with that, and then otherwise like I've just been captivated by even like the simplest palette, like that traditional card palette, like playing card palette, like dark red, dark like true blue, and um, canary yellow, and mix in like a little bright blue, something along the lines. I think I used the Glacier Freeze or whatever from Starbright. That was like super fun. That mix, that black and white, and like that shit pops, man. Like that mask was so much fucking fun to like execute and just play with the colors, and like he was giving me like artistic freedom, so I could kind of do what I wanted in creating and reformulating the idea. Like I changed what we were going to do with the eyes and stuff along the way to kind of make it pop a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a little bit tougher to work because I was like navigating around saving the yellow, where I wish, I could have just done 2 sessions on it, honestly, and done the yellow first and then done the rest later. Or maybe black and then yellow outline. Just do those two and then let it be, let it heal, and then go back in. I think it would have been a lot faster. Um, but it's possible that it wouldn't have. I feel like I did it decently efficiently, but um, just something to try maybe next time. Like I know how they look when they heal by themselves on Andrea's arm, and it looks awesome. So I can't wait to like finish that, post that, and then move forward with that project and hopefully mess around more. I'll probably I don't think I ever posted the flash sheet I sent to you guys, but I was kind of inspired by like watching this Ed Hardy thing, which might be kind of fun for us to do like a watch party one day. It's like
Yeah.
a hour and a half video of Ed Hardy kind of going through a bunch of the stuff he made and just like pretty much Goofy Panther after Goofy Panther in different ways. But it was just fun to hear his like rationale and see like what he was creating and what at what time and why that was interesting or something that people tuned into, and kind of got my creative juices flowing on like reusing and kind of spinning some of the old designs with some more contemporary stuff, um, which I also saw like in the Korean scene where they're reusing kind of traditional Chinese or Japanese style art, um, and reimagining it with different kind of patterns and gradients and kind of fun stuff inside of it that just look interesting.
Um, yeah, we'll definitely do a watch party for that because that sounds like it'd be interesting to watch. Uh, I also have that Russ Abbott color theory that's like an hour and a half long, where he kind of goes over everything and why, like how he did his color wheel and all that, and how to apply it.
Yeah, we could. I mean, we could do something like that in a Zoom call one day with us, probably, but just obviously not on air on Twitch. I wouldn't do that. But
Yeah.
the Ed Hardy things on YouTube, so I'd be fine running that and just not saving the VOD or posting the VOD. Just kind of like make it a live event. People want to come, chill, and hang out, and maybe draw a fucking panther head with some weird shit going on, like in tribute to Ed. Like it
I think
might
I
be a
might
good thing to
eventually
do.
end up having to do a panther head on one of my clients to cover up a shitty rose he has on his arm. Um,
Yeah,
just just because I've had him for a couple years and we've done all. He's pretty much the kid that has the anime leg sleeve, and right, like we did a bunch of traditional stuff here, and he's got like this really old, crappy looking yellow rose. I'm like, let's just do like a panther head if we're gonna go traditional. Just do that, and I'll cover that up, no
go
problem.
blast over.
Uh, so he wants to finish up that arm. I'm like, dude, let's finish up the leg. You got all that anime stuff on the leg. You still have your stomach that's still not fully done. You have your back that's still not done.
Word.
Like killing me here. You're killing me.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work cut out for him. It's a
uh,
lot of motivation, a lot of money, a lot of pain on the way.
yep.
I think
So
I'm personally ready. Like it's strange how like it comes around to summer a lot when I get tattooed, but it's like the worst time. But then I just get the itch. I definitely feel like I need to get some tattoos because I feel like getting tattooed is like the thing that unlocks like that next level always
I'm
of
thinking the
like
same thing.
you
I've
learn
been
that
like
new
itching to
extra
get
trick.
something new.
Word.
Like I haven't gotten anything new since Megan tattooed me. Either you tattooed me or Megan tattooed me. So and that's been a while. But I think I might just hold off until close to the end of the summer. So
Word.
figure out what I want to do. Maybe I'll have you guys kind of collaborate and start working on my like video game leg piece or something.
Be sick.
Yeah.
I've been looking to do some more collabs, so I think that'd be a lot of fun. Like pass the art back and forth a bunch and then make something interesting and then like I don't know, I think
Yeah.
it might be fun, to like do like I don't even know how you there's so many ways you can approach a collab because you could be like, oh, like line work, shading, color, like mix that up, or you just like go 15 minutes and just like get shit done, like doing like the same stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, I
like
mean,
I
plenty of
want to
ways.
try a bunch.
Maybe we'll have to, like, I wouldn't mind doing a collab like we did with that back piece. Maybe we should just like post something, be like, hey, cut a deal on doing a big piece collab and kind of go from there.
Even beyond posting something, it might be fun to do like a little event where it's like Flash Day esque, but it's like COVID era Flash Day where you're gonna like pre-reserve your spot, but we're gonna do only collabs that day and like mix up collabs in the shop, like some like 2 3 hour bangers, like bam bam bam, do like 3 4 pieces on like a long day, like a Saturday or something, but like have 2 artists working with someone like most of the time
Yeah.
and like preset the price, something uniform, and then let people claim the spots. I'm pretty sure we could sell it. Like we could have a long time to do it. So we just have to pick a weekend, so maybe a day in August.
Do you guys, yeah, definitely figure something out. Do you guys feel like that come winter time, like things are gonna still be a little crazy just because of the fact that like it's like 3 months of like backhaul, I guess, whatever you want to call it, or you think it will start to slow down around that time?
I think that's when we see the slowdown. I plan on trying to ride the wave like through fall if possible,
Yeah.
but I think we all have like enough of a following where it's gonna, it stays consistent. Like I think last year I had maybe 4 or 5 days the entire year that I didn't do tattoos, and that was like, I don't even know if it was by cancellation or what, but very probably 3 or less days where I just wasn't booked, and now it's even like a bigger clientele, so I don't see it getting like slow. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a pretty steady stream, but I could see it getting slow like right before like late fall, super late fall, before holidays, and then I bet it's like a pretty hot holiday too for tattoos, and then maybe next year, going into next year, might see it like slow a little bit. I don't know, but then if taxes come rolling back around, like I don't know, like we are established in an area that's like pretty strong middle class. Like it's not like it's middle class just making it. Like South Windsor's pretty ballin', so
Yeah.
a lot of people in the area around us make good money, and
Yeah.
as long as not too many people lose jobs in like lower sectors, then I think we'll be all right. Like probably a pretty stable area economically speaking.
Uh, I feel like, yeah, I mean, we'll probably part of me feels like maybe we might end up staying busy past like the holiday season just because of how everything's going. You know what I mean? Most of us are booked out for, over a month, and people are still calling, and it seems like we're still getting calls and appointments and all that stuff set up.
It's always been a pretty busy shop. I mean, I don't think I've ever been there where it's like there's like a really, I don't know. It just doesn't really seem like it's never really been that kind of place. Um, I mean, there's times that are slower than others, sure.
Yeah.
It's just hard to predict because sometimes you predict like, in tattooing, there's like these notorious slow seasons, and then they come around and we're just busy, or one shop's busy and one shop's not, and then the seasons change and it's the opposite. So like, it's very strange. Like I don't understand a lot of it, but I think tattoos are just like the thing to get right now, and it probably will be throughout the year, just because it's one of those things that people get when like they're like stressed out, or there's just
True.
like really nothing else to do. Like
True.
people aren't going on the vacations as much. People aren't going on trips as much. They're not spending money on a lot of things right now. You literally can't go out and find a video game. Like I tried to buy an Xbox, they don't exist. Like there's just nothing to buy, there's nothing to get, and there's nothing to do. So like you put all those things together and you get a tattoo. So
Yeah.
I mean that's good for us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that is very true. Like it's I'd be a hell of a lot more likely for our next like date, I guess, date night to be like a destination more like a tattoo than like going out to a restaurant, I guess. Like at this
Yeah.
point, I'm still not about to go sit down somewhere. Like I'll get some takeout, from
Yeah,
places,
I
but
get takeout, but I'm not sitting down anywhere. That just seems, especially inside.
It
definitely
seems
not
well, a
Um,
lot of
inside, no.
restaurants seem like they're taking that precaution of actually having
Yeah.
everybody eat outside.
But it's still got to be sunny. Like if you don't have that UV light like hitting the area you're in, then it's really not gonna like help
yeah,
as much. Like
Yeah.
that makes me feel secure knowing that information about the UVC light and like how quickly, it kills the shit. Like if the sun's fucking out, it's good. Like, but even if some like thick clouds come over, if I was sitting outside in a group of people, I'd be like, these motherfuckers are about the patient zero on my ass.
But, oh man. Yeah, hopefully, this summer will work out well with the virus and stuff. If, getting somewhat killed off, at least, not as many cases, you know. So,
yeah. Um, I'm like I said before, like in the beginning, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, there's a lot of people that believe that we are going to be shut down again. Like, there's going to be some like super second breakout or second wave where things close back down or this and that. Me
yeah.
personally, I don't know. I'm just not feeding into it. I was also pretty pretty sure that like once the election is over, like coronavirus would just disappear off the news
Oh shit.
altogether.
I can see
So
that.
yeah,
Oh.
Like, oh, we found a cure.
yeah,
It's over.
Well, I mean, they will try to do that because obviously, like with America not having privatized healthcare, the government and a lot of the government's close financial buddies with backdoor deals are heavily invested into dispensing some expensive medicines, primarily expensive ones, not necessarily effective ones. And that's the issue that you get when you publicize healthcare. You're going to get lower quality and less of a choice by the patient and less of a choice by the doctor. So we're at a very interesting predicament with that. But I think, yeah, I'm not super concerned with the shit going forward, and I think like we're taking the right steps, and it'll get
yeah,
diminished, and it's just gonna be something that's not so significant not too long from now. But yeah, it's interesting. Like it's an interesting outlook
Yeah.
to try to factor in like how that can affect things. But I wouldn't be like real into shutting down again. I don't think. Like I'm pretty sure, we're doing well enough now that I could probably swing the extra savings to an attorney if I must have one, but I'm pretty sure a public defender is going to be able to stand up just fine and read the like constitutional rights that say your business can't be shut down involuntarily by just the governor saying something or making an executive order that's totally unconstitutional and not supported by even their own state's fucking House of Representatives or Congress. So like I wouldn't be too interested in shutting back down unless the numbers got horrible. Like when the numbers got bad before, I fucking
if I'm seeing
pieced out
people like
myself.
if
you
I'm
know
seeing people like actually physically dying, like
yeah, bro. Yeah.
okay, but like I'm not, like and the only thing I'm hearing from anybody in healthcare is that it's all a sham. Like, and when you hear that, from actual people like actual people that work in healthcare, like if you're hearing on a normal basis that this is all a ripoff, like it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to hear, like
Yeah.
like, but then you go on the news and they're like, yep, these are real people and it's actually a virus and people are actually dying from it. And then someone that actually works in a hospital is like, they're having heart attacks and they're committing suicide and they're sick and they're old. They're 100 years old and that's just what happens when you get sick and you're 100. Like I don't know what to. I don't know what to say. Like I don't know like what to think. And it doesn't make too much sense, but at the same time, it's like, what are you gonna do? So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still good to just be, you don't want to be that asshole that's like, oh, I don't believe in this shit, and
Oh
I don't wear masks, and then
yeah.
you hear from someone and they're like, well, my grandma died because of it, and I'm like, no, your grandma died because she's a grandma, grandmas die. That's part of like what happens. They get old and they die. They were sick and they had COVID, and it's like, ah, yeah, I mean, shit. Now I feel like a jerk. But in my head, I'm still like sticking to my guns. But like, you just don't want to be that guy, I guess. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right now, I'm
It's
having.
easy to err on the side of caution for now.
Because
Yeah.
then I'm gonna get it and like I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be like, shit, I should have listened. And I don't know. Sucks.
Right now, I'm kind of going through a situation with my sister because she's like posting all this stuff about how like I shouldn't have to wear a mask. I don't wear a mask in public. I'm like, listen, you don't have to wear a mask, but this is the reason why it's just to be a little cautious about it. And I had to explain to her, I'm like, what if you go and visit our grandmother and you get her sick? You end up getting her sick. Then what?
Yeah.
Then it's either she gets sick from the coronavirus or she obviously, she's older. So who knows what may actually occur. Obviously, like you said, at this point, doctors are just assuming that it's COVID and not really doing the necessary steps to.
Yeah. Like when I found out that like people that have in healthcare that have been in the same like vicinity as someone that tested positive for COVID, like if you tell them that you like cough or sneezed or something, they're going to write you as a COVID positive person and force you to quarantine from your job when you haven't gotten any testing. They
Yeah.
will mark you as positive, and that to me just seems like no, like that's not okay, But I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's a little ridiculous if that's that being the case. Uh, but I mean, what are you gonna do? We don't really have
I mean, at this
any
point,
solid proof and evidence on it.
as like a normal person that like I don't know anything just as much as other people don't know things, So like, who am I to, you know, put my conspiracy onto other people? Like, I'm gonna wear the mask, Like, I'm gonna respect people that are walking down the street. Like, I'm not gonna be that guy that's like, you know, like walk into a supermarket without a mask on and scream at everyone saying it's not real with my tinfoil hat, Like, I'd rather, like I don't want to be that guy. Like nobody does, Like So as much as I believe these things, like you still got to be like a good
You gotta
human
be aware.
being, Like
Yeah,
you still have to. I don't know.
I get it. Like it's either like it's just hard to judge like whether anything's actually um whether all this is just becoming more and more bullshit or if there's some truth to it.
Yeah.
Because all we do is we just get the information from either the internet or the news, and who the fuck knows whether they're being as accurate as they think they are,
Yeah.
or if they're just trying to do it just to kind of scare people.
Well, these other states are still shut down, you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
if it was shut down and like
True.
we were living there, like if I was there and I was looking at the numbers that they're claiming just the way that it was when those were the numbers that we were like looking at in this area, I've I'm way too fucking paranoid to like ignore that and go to work when like things, especially with the fact that we were able to make it work, like all of us were able to get the federal unemployment stimulus and stuff like that. But if that wasn't the case, and if like
We'd all
business
be
was
fucked.
gonna be, closing if I didn't make moves, like fuck yeah, I'd be opening my business like illegally or whatever, like is needed to get by. Like you gotta live, like you gotta feed your family, and people have like their things that they do. Like you're not just gonna like totally change your hustle. Like if you can and you can pivot, then more power to you. And that's exactly like what people should do. But for the most of people, like they do something and they're pretty specialized, and that's how they get by. So like you got to do what you got to do. But
Yeah.
that stimulus money is about to run out for a lot of these places. Like I think the 31st of this month. So
Yeah.
that's like the end of the federal 600 or whatever. And I think that'll change some shit, like, and change some dynamics economically for the average person.
Yeah. I'm just lucky that we were, even during the quarantine, that we, you having us as actual employees kind of definitely helped us out in the long run.
Oh yeah.
You
I
know.
mean, you eventually would have been able to get 1099 unemployment, but it would have been the same like boat as me, where you'd have to prove like self-employed 1099,
Yeah.
waiting to declare. It was fucking halfway through May before I got any money. So it was a long time, like almost 2 months that I had to make it
Yeah.
with like whatever I had left over. That's when everyone was, getting on the hustle and getting those advance payments and stuff. And we're all, I think finally getting to that point. Thank God that we've like worked through them.
Yeah. But
It definitely sucks to like lay that work down. And then and I wasn't like so in tune with my schedule, like days out ahead. So like be looking at something and like doing a tattoo where I'm not getting paid at all, and then the next day I come in and like have a massive deposit. Next day I come in, have like it's already prepaid as well, and then bam, like 3 days of like full tattooing where I'm like busting my ass, and I've got like not I got the money, and I benefited way more than I would have otherwise to not have it. But then um you don't, when you don't get the money on the spot, like, or at least some sort of payment to the day of, like, it
yeah.
definitely, there's a difference in what's going on, like as far as like personal finances are concerned.
Yeah.
But in other news, speaking of personal finances, I got the van back and it's a fucking mint, dude. Like the guy's got it running so good. I stole that fucking car, man.
Oh man, that's good. About time.
Yep.
You guys didn't have for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks or something like
Yeah, now we're gonna have our first car in a long time with AC. Ugh.
that.
Yeah. Besides the Hyundai, which is just
Speaking
kind
of
of
which, I
small.
just remembered I gotta go bring Trisha's car for an inspection tomorrow because her car's inspection sticker expires today, this month.
Word. That's always annoying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the place I went, I had to go do mine last week, so place literally it did it in like 20 minutes. They're like, all right. So, and hers is brand new, so it shouldn't even take like fairly new, so it shouldn't even take that long.
Yep.
Oh man, and then I got a lot of shit to do tomorrow, like more like housework and shit.
We're about to take the van on some sort of ride somewhere and have some fun.
I'm gonna go to work.
Hell yeah.
Got
I don't have to
stuff
be to
to
work till
do tomorrow.
Tuesday. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing on Tuesday.
What
Got
do you got tomorrow?
some traditional stuff tomorrow, and I'm starting another Japanese half sleeve. Probably
shit.
outlining it.
Nice.
Tuesday, I have a big guillotine on the back of the thigh. Wednesday, I have apparently whatever I want to do from the shoulder to the elbow.
Yes.
Nice.
Thursday, I'm tattooing Emily. I'm doing one of the lady hits from one of my recent flash sheets. And Friday, just some more traditional stuff, and I think a Lakitu from Mario. Yeah.
Oh no.
So I got a pretty crammed week. I'm working every day this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be good though.
And then I
Get
got
that hustle
Pokemon
on.
again Friday night. Hopefully I can win something.
Yeah, I
'Cause
mean,
last
you
week was
got
not good.
clearly you have to play the deck that you had that you wanted to play because it
Yeah,
was well formulated, but you're
it was
gonna
a
have
bad
some
call.
fuckers
Yeah,
there that have adjusted to it.
yeah. But I was just like, oh, yeah, you can use this, and then I used my like backup deck, and it just like didn't. You just hit crap, and you're like, oh, okay,
At least
good.
you can still feel like a mastermind in the background. You're like,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Like the winning deck was actually mine. Like I
It's
built
so
it.
good
Like
that
it
anyone
was.
can win with it.
It was so good that he didn't
Yeah.
even know what the cards did, and he still won with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Damn.
Dude, Pokemon, they're making moves, dude. I'm excited for the MOBA. I'm excited for Snap. I'm super excited for Snap. Like,
I
that
know, me
is
The
too.
so
MOBA, the
hype,
MOBA
dude.
seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think the issue with when Pokemon makes games like that, like for example, like Pokken and stuff like that, is they don't have enough options because there's like 1,000 of those fuckers, and like they put like 6 of them in a game, and it's like the worst ones, and you're like, I don't want to be any of these guys. Like I don't want to be Pikachu. I don't want to be Pikachu with a luchador mask. I don't want to be Charizard, and I don't want to be Mewtwo. You know, like, but that's like your playable roster, and it's like, oh, okay.
Which I do find interesting that they a lot of times they pretty much do a lot of the first gen Pokemon. But I mean,
Of
Yeah.
course.
I get it.
Of
Like,
course.
Because they still
Which-
have to like they still
They're
have to
pandering.
market. They have
Yeah.
to market to people. Like say there's people that are big into MOBAs right now, and they haven't played Pokemon since they were kids, where they only know Gen 1, and they're one of those like Gen 1 pandering like friggin' simps, and then that you like they see that there's another MOBA coming out, and they're just like, oh cool, like I'll play this game because it's got Charizard and Pikachu and all that, and it's like,
yeah.
oh,
Well, I think for this, I think it'll be a little different just because of the fact that they'll add they can add more characters if they need to. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, they will.
yeah, I
It's
feel
gonna
like
be
if
big.
it's because I feel like it's gonna be like those other like MOBAs. It's gonna be like, for instance, a perfect example is Smite. Smite has like so many fucking characters in that game, and they're all gods. So I wouldn't be that surprised if they start like they'll drop characters, but
yeah,
it'll definitely be all
microtransactions.
yeah
For sure.
microtransactions. That'll be the only downfall about that.
At least it's not pay to win, though. It's all cosmetic micro. But
Yeah.
that's
Unless
the
the
beauty of the
characters are
MOBA.
like OP or whatever.
Yeah, but then they'll
Yeah.
nerf it. Like, but the character, yeah, of course you won't be able to own all the characters. Like, you'll have to either play enough or pay enough to unlock them. And
Yep.
then, the coolest ones will be the most expensive, and it's just how it goes. But like, if it's good, it's going to be worth playing enough with the ones that necessarily aren't the
And if they're
most,
consistent about it too.
like, yeah, the
Yeah.
most impressive ones, and then it'll be good. I bet they drop 40 Pokemon somewhere around there right off the rip. Something like 35, 40, because a 5v5, like, you got to think like there's tank, DPS, and healer. At least for 3 rolls they're gonna need 7 per roll, so bare minimum 21.
You'll probably have a couple of fairy types. Those will probably be the healers. You'll probably have some of the bigger, heavier Pokemon, which will be your tanks.
I'm interested with who they'll have heal, because Pokemon, it's not like, I guess I'm out of the loop on it, but it doesn't seem like there's that much support that normally happens, so they're gonna change some shit. That's gonna piss Poke players off because they're gonna have like people doing stuff that's totally different than what the
It's
Pokemon
more or less
normally
the
does.
moves that they get. You know what I mean? And it like it's just gonna be it's similar. It's gonna be similar to Pokemon from what I've seen in the trailer and the gameplay, where they'll have 4 moves that you can choose from as they progress and level up. And I guarantee I'm sure you can change those moves out in like the menu so that as they level up, you can change them. A lot of it just deals with moves. So, like for instance, like I said, either fairy types or normal types, whatever, there'll probably be a select set of moves that'll allow you to have like healing abilities or support abilities because that's pretty much what you have, um, just as moves alone. But it'll be interesting. I like it. It'll definitely be interesting to see how they're gonna apply that. But I'm not honestly when it comes to the roster, I'm not gonna be. I feel like I'm not gonna be disappointed. You know, um, just because I feel like they're just if it's gonna be anything like any of the other type of similar games, we'll be all right with choices.
I mean, I bet it's mostly first gen though. Like that's probably correct. I bet it's like 70% first gen because they already showed obviously like all the three basic starters. Yeah, Pikachu as well. I saw I think Machop and so you got to think about the level up and the like the evolves. There was a Snorlax though, so like I'm interested to see how like the ones that don't evolve, like the difference in the like power ups of the evolution versus the ones that don't, and like how that works out. If there's like early game heavy and late game heavy different Pokemon to choose from, it should be
Yeah,
fun and like cross platform. It's got a lot of hype behind it. They do have
Well,
individual leveling.
technically, Snorlax does evolve
Oh really?
from Munchlax,
Oh, I didn't even
but
know that.
Snorlax
yeah,
is a stage
that's
one.
like the baby form, and that.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's but
so
Munchlax isn't Gen 1, so
yeah, no,
Yeah,
no. But Snorlax is in it, so maybe they will start with the Munchlax and
yeah,
have it
maybe.
evolve. Because the other ones do evolve during the game. Like that's how you like go as you go and through the level up process, they are evolving. So, um, and I'm intrigued. Like I'll look into it more at some point soon to see like what they're going to use for objectives. But I think like as much as I love MOBAs and like I'm intrigued to try that and especially to stream it, I think it'll be fun. And I think like if you guys are playing it, it'll be a lot of fun to like play together. But um the fucking Pokemon Snap, man, shit just looks so good. It's gonna be so fun. And then there's like unlimited DLCs that are available. Like they can do so many things with that.
on a side note, I don't know if you've actually downloaded that Pokemon Smile.
No, I
Like,
want to.
dude, it helps with Parker. It helps so much because he's like ready to play, like he's ready to brush his teeth and play, and it's made it so much easier to get him to brush his teeth.
What's Pokemon Smile?
So it's a new app that came out. It's really for kids, to help
I
them kind of
hope
brush their teeth.
it is really for kids. It's for
Yeah, it
kids.
really is. I mean, unless you want to actually try it, but it's pretty much it's a way to get little kids to brush their teeth. So while you're brushing your teeth, you're essentially you're like there's a Pokemon, and it's like an image of like a mouth inside, but it's not, whatever. And you see all these little purple like smoke bombs, and your Pokemon's like battling these smoke bombs till Pokemon appears, and it turns out the Pokemon itself is in purple, and the more you brush, the more you battle it, and then it pops up, and then you throw a Pokeball and you catch it. Like as lame as that sounds, it's meant for little kids to brush their teeth, and I've used that
Well,
myself.
I gotta get going to bed, so I gotta go brush my teeth and
Yeah,
take a
perfect.
shower real quick.
But overall, like it works. It's been a lot easier to get my son to brush his teeth
Cool.
than it was prior. And he gets excited too. So he's like he sees once he wins, once Pokemon pops up, because it's a time limit. Once the time limit runs out, Pokeball pops up, and all you have to do is just press Pokeball. So he does that, and he catches it. And the funny thing is, it'll actually take pictures of you brushing your teeth. Take pictures of him brushing his teeth. So
Send it to the government.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Son of a bitch.
Toothbrushing pics. That's what it's about now.
But it's cool. Like it's cool. Like if you have a kid that's it's hard for him to brush teeth, that's the best way to do it right now. It seems like it's working. So I'd recommend it, man. You should
I'm
you
sure
and
they would
Asia should
have
just
fun.
download it and just
Anything that increases enthusiasm around that is good. Like they're pretty good about it, but if they're enthusiastic, it would be better. Orion's been
yeah.
kind of picking up some more gaming. He likes the gaming, I think, a little bit more than Ellie used to. So I'm intrigued to see, where he goes with that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely time to get Ellie in some console gaming. So need to start pushing some shit, starting like ASAP. Like Super Nintendo, she's 4.5. It's perfect timing.
Yeah. Get her some Super Nintendo. That'll be fun. Just get her the SNES Mini.
Yeah,
Have her
something
play
like
that.
that. Something like that for sure.
You know, and it'll be her own little mini console. And if you need to hack into it, I'll do it for you.
Sounds good.
It's easy. It's got a USB built in. You just plug it right into your computer and you just download games onto it. It's awesome.
You have to use a program to download them in though.
Yeah, but it's like a Google search in 30
Yeah.
seconds of your time. Yeah.
Nice.
So I have that. I even have my PlayStation 1 mini hack too, because that did terrible. You actually had to because they just didn't have too many good games. They had like maybe 3, and the rest of them were just weird no-name games. So then I learned how to hack into it and add more games to it. So now I'm just waiting on that N64 mini if it ever comes out.
Nope.
Or just use a Raspberry Pi, but there's no fun in that. That's easy. I still want to build an arcade cabinet for the shop, but obviously with the COVID situation, it doesn't really
Yeah,
make
it's
sense
gonna
to do
be a
that
while. Gonna be a while.
now. We'll just have to get a TV for the shop.
Well, I definitely want one of those. And there's yeah, I'm sure there's some positive changes coming on the way. Like I want to start reworking on like the front room and the lights, cabinets. Planning for like the restructuring of it eventually, and having TVs would be sick. That'd be a real nice addition.
So
Definitely in the works.
cool.
The sign is the next thing, though. I decided the other day. I was like, I can't look at this anymore. Gotta
What?
fix the sign.
Replacing it?
Just re-brighten, like get the neon working in the edge part, which it's
Oh
never been.
yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta have an electrician look at it, and then a neon guy come, or a neon person come.
Has that sign been there like ever since the shop opened? Like
Oh, yeah.
that exact sign?
Yeah, that one.
You never considered updating it?
Hell no. It's like a
I feel like
$10,000
I
sign.
understand it's like wicked expensive.
Yeah.
I'd assume.
No, that would be idiotic. At this point, I mean, I'm not that balling, but
Yeah.
if I was rolling in money, maybe it'd be different. But yeah, it's too expensive to think that. But there is another sign if it ever like super died, or if it was going to be absurd to fix it. I have like another one that was at a different edge tattoo. It's the New Haven one. It's pretty sick sign, so wouldn't mind switching to that. But
I mean, I get it.
I like the lettering that we have up there and stuff. It's like so nostalgic.
Yeah. So no.
For me now. It's like I've been looking at that for 20 years myself, so
you're like, I can't change that.
No, I couldn't. No. I've stuck with the name instead of changing it when I bought the shop anyway, so definitely gonna leave the sign. But I do need to fix it. Gotta fix it, and then I want to paint behind it black. 3 years, I think. Yeah, just because I don't know. Like I was like, fuck it, I don't feel like wasting money on that because put the money other places.
It's not that important, so
I don't think it was lit when I worked there at all. So it must be over 3 years now.
Yeah.
Or about 3 years.
Yeah, it's like just saying tattoo it, like it's enough, but it'll be cool to have the edge back. Like it was in orange. Who knows like what color? Well, if I fix it, it'll be orange. If they need to replace the neon, then I could probably choose a color, but might just stick with the nostalgic combo. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it's something I'm finna do right now. But I gotta wait until this shit is done with the like government loan and all that stuff's in the clear, and then I'll be making moves. Which shouldn't be long. Probably 2-3 weeks from now.
Nice. Oh, I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually gonna be gone for a week in August.
I know it now because you put it in way after the fact, but you got some people to call.
I put it in before that stuff was put in, but it didn't
go through. No.
Yeah.
You didn't. No.
I did. I promise you I did. And I showed Andrea, I'm like, I put this in beforehand.
No.
And it didn't go through.
No.
Yeah. Look it. I'll even show it to you.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that it was put in there. No, was it?
It was.
It's definitely got some people to call. And Bryant, like maybe I might need you to pick up like a tattoo that a group is coming in for?
Cool.
Cool.
I was gonna say like I'm gonna be out next week for
Yeah.
a day or two, but then I'm like, that's the same shit as having days off, so never mind.
Yeah. I know you had like something coming up, but
Yeah.
Dennis is now throwing vacations in when he had appointments, so you're gonna have to
I
call
already
some of
had
these
that shit set
people.
up prior.
I'll
Not
give
my
you the
fault it didn't go
numbers.
through.
I'll give you the numbers. You can call the clients and work it out professionally.
Uh, but I was originally supposed to be the week I was supposed to go to Wildwood, and that stuff was already booked and shit. So
Word.
I'm like, oh Jesus fuck.
You guys are still gonna go?
No, we're going somewhere else. I guess we're going to like somewhere in Connecticut. I
Oh
guess.
shit. CT.
Yeah, so not going too far.
Word.
I
Yeah,
guess they
we'll
rent.
get it.
I guess they
We'll get it
rented like
worked out.
I don't know if it's a beach house or what. I'm like not always in the loop when it comes to that when the family makes vacation plans, just because I'm too busy working, so I'm never around.
I know how you feel.
uh, so I stay out of the loop until it's pretty much time to go.
Word. Well, it's pretty late. It's 1 a.m., so we should wrap it
Shit.
up. And
Yeah, I'm
then
gonna head to
2
bed.
hours in.
we'll call it
Tattoos
for
tomorrow.
today. Yeah, and then we'll definitely have to continue doing this regularly. Try to nail out once a week and keep it
Yeah.
regular.
And post about it too, so we can get people back in the chat and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
like we'll get the momentum back. It's
yeah, like I knew a couple people that wanted to join, but we started a little late, so they weren't going to be around for it. So if we start like our regular time, like 9 o'clock, we'll get people in the chat.
yeah, I think we can do that. Like going forward, I'll stop making as many Sunday plans so that way I can be available earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll make it regular, and then maybe even just pick a regular time to make it super concrete so that you can easily plan for it.
Yeah.
So we'll work on that going forward. But it was nice to get back into it, chat with you guys, casually since we're like separate in the shop. So it's fun to have a little discourse about random shit, tattooing, whatever.
The usual.
Word. Yeah, you can find us all on the Edge Tattoos Instagram or the individual posted Instagrams. Otherwise, I appreciate everybody who's come by and hung out in the chat. There was a couple comments, but
Yeah.
kind of went by the wayside because we were so focused in, I think, on the color conversation. So that's
We were.
what happens when you get tattoo artists talking about colors. I liked it though. It covered up some good subjects that we haven't touched on yet.
Are we posting? Are we still posting on YouTube? Are we still posting?
Yeah, I'm gonna post it to YouTube.
Yeah, so anybody that watches on YouTube is from the area that's interested in getting tattooed. Like you said, you can find us on the Edge Tattoos Instagram page, the Edge Tattoo. We're appointment only right now due to COVID-19. So you can contact, pretty sure all the artists, individually or give the shop a call to get matched up to the artist for you. But there's currently no walk-ins, anything like that. Just to like prevent anybody from coming to the shop thinking that they can, come in and just get tattooed whenever. So just give the shop a call and we'll get you an appointment. We'll get you in ASAP.
Yes, indeed. Any other closing comments for you, Dennis?
Pretty much all I'd say is just just even though we're back to work, any of our clients or any newcomers, just know that we take our job very seriously at the shop, and we take our health and our clients' health into consideration when when you guys book with us. Um, just keep that in mind so that anybody who's watching this understand that we are very cautious about how we treat everybody during this time. Um, we just want to pull out some good pieces and make everybody happy and kind of have some kind of somewhat normal, business. But like Brian said, you can reach us at The Edge on Instagram, and find out which one of us is best for you. But other than that, stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you guys again soon. And we'll have more people to be able to kind of give us questions and just chit chat.
Cool. There it is, episode 4 in the books.